What I was going to do was kind of ask you about, if you're looking back in retrospect and looking at like the 0 to 50K range and then the 50 to 100K and then 100 to 200K range, like what were the big, I guess, changes you had to make during those times? Or like what were the big, because I'm sure you had to grow as a person as well. You had to grow as a person, as a business owner, your operations, like the way you ran your company had to change. Like what was the big unlock from 0 to like 50? And then what was the big unlock from like 50 to 100?
So the short version is 0 to 50 was client acquisition. I was the perfect example of I could run some good ads for my clients. I did not know how to get clients for myself, and I failed multiple times, which is, why I ended up jumping in to Agency Collective. And then literally just a few weeks in, I nailed down a pretty good client acquisition channel with Facebook ads. And so that was sort of the unlock there. And then, the challenges came along, like talking to all the leads. And so I solved that with a setter. But then I also had to get better at sales. So then the next thing was getting better at sales, which I just brought every sales call on that I would have allowed to and just honed in the sales, and then eventually hired some sales guys, which really helped kind of go to that next level. But then the huge issue was training them to get good clients, not just close clients. That was all in that 0 to 50 range.
That was a lot of really good stuff. And all I heard throughout everything you just said was just like problem solving, like a series of problem solving, right? I don't have opportunity, problem solve. I have all these leads I need to connect with, problem solving, appointment setter. I'm trying to close deals 80 hours a day, problem solve. That's awesome. Okay, so I cut you off. Like 50 to 100 now. Like once you breach 50K a month, like what are the bottlenecks there? What kind of problem solving happened in that range?
Well, I didn't used to really charge much, or as much as I should. So I had to kind of build the value of the work I was doing. And then I kind of had to hone in getting the good clients so that I could charge, as much as I needed to charge. And then getting the sales close rates up a little bit, and then churn. And so I was just a little too busy right there in that in-between stage with fulfillment and trying to run the company in sales and all of that. So getting fulfillment off my plate with white label was really what allowed me to take the next jump, because then I really started focusing on the ads, the funnel, actually running the sales team, all that little kind of stuff.
So what do you think about 100 to 200? What had to happen there?
The biggest things I can think of, I had gotten in on a VSL and I scripted the thing from beginning to end. And that was when we really did a big jump. But then I did that under a guarantee offer, which kind of worked out. But I also got some clients that I really didn't like. They were focused on the wrong things. So about four or 5 months into that, I got rid of the guarantee offer and went to just a normal offer. I basically just took all the stuff I'd heard from client, pains and concerns, and I just built out an ad that I filmed, right here, kind of calling them out and calling out the ideal client and telling them how we have helped that type of person, get to this point.
I cut you off multiple times now. 100 to 200, like what was the big thing in that gap?
Account management is the big thing for like this back half of the year for sure. By getting the account managers in there, and then I put the original account manager as like the operations manager. And so the client experience has gotten better, the client results have gotten better, and the ascension has gotten better. And so that's what I believe like took it to the next level, is just building that bottom end, keeping the clients longer, making the clients happier. All of my ads now are just testimonials. So that sort of went full circle. And so now it's a little easier to get people in the door because of those testimonials.
And sorry, I keep on cutting you off because like my mind is bursting with questions. Like this is all really exciting to me. Account management, team building, making sure we're improving the client experience and the client results, basically like dialing in quality across the board, right?
Yes. And I kind of focused more on what was really work, because I always wanted to offer these full custom website builds and offer these really robust SEO campaigns, but I'm also hyper niched, and those things were not really getting the clients a huge ROI. But I realized Facebook ads are where people are getting all of this return from. And Google ads, if their area has the search volume, they're also getting a huge return from. So now I kind of tailored the package to get them the most ROI in the shortest amount of time possible so that they see the benefit, they see the value, they get their money back. And then I upsell them on custom website and SEO on the back end.
Cool. What do you think about going from 200, 250 to 350, 400? I mean, what does the future look like for you over the next year or so?
For me, it's all sales. It's sales. Like if I can just increase sales by 10%, I could get close to that 400 range. You know, quality is just getting better. We have a good team on that. And so we'll continue that. But I'm just going to continue to do better with sales.
Going back to that journey, going from 0 to 50 to 100 to 200, whatever, you talked about like some of the mechanical things that needed to happen, but surely there was some mindset, internal stuff as well, right?
For sure. I mean, the first time I got on automatic agency, I was like, oh, wow, this is for real. I could actually do this. And then, you know, did and got some clients, but it was more like side hustle, doing some ads for people. And then I got into Agency Collective. Back then, your first one, if I remember right, was Mindset. That really helped me. And the time that I was in, I mean, I just took everything to heart and, you know, learned, put to work, learned, put to work, learned, put to work. And, you know, by the time I picked my head up, you know, we had this machine. And then I just kept realizing, oh, I can't do this. I need help. I can't do this. I need help. And then all of a sudden, you know, now I have these team of people and I need to get more and I have the ability to get more, you know, why wouldn't I? And I just kept doing more of what worked. I didn't really necessarily do anything new. So that kind of gives me a lot of joy. And I just think, you know, why can't I just keep doing that more? I've been able to help out my family, been able to do some kind of cool, more like dream type stuff, you know, building around my home and family. I've been able to help our community, our church. And then, but all my mind thinks about when I wake up in the morning is what more can I do? You know, don't ever think you know something. Like test and ask, test and ask, test and ask. And then when somebody tells you what you don't want to hear or what you think is not the right thing, you know, just listen to it. You know, Hormozy talks about it all the time, that usually it's the thing you're avoiding or the thing that's the most obvious or the most boring that's going to move the needle the most. And I mean, I'm a good example of, you know, being hyper niched, and you'd think that the niche would be exhausted by now, but we're just scaling more. So, you know, find your thing, stick with it, try to become an expert at it, actually care about your clients.